Hello, I'm going to be talking about another Twitter suspension. But first, I want to tell you about the Vox Party in Spain. I have only just discovered them. I know very little about Spanish politics, let's put it this way. So it's very difficult to work out how far right anybody actually is. In every article I've been able to find on Google, Vox is described as a far right party. And this is a Euronews report on them. And this is what he says are the aims of the Vox Party. It started in 2013. Its electoral programme includes proposals that would violate, now we've got here the word violate, which is a loaded word, which would violate the Spanish constitution, such as eliminating the autonomous communities. The autonomous communities are self-governing areas. And Vox says that this is too expensive. There's a lot of doubling up on bureaucracy and that they should all be abolished so that it's cheaper to run the government. Well, you can agree or disagree with that, but that's not far right. Let's see what else. The outlawing of nationalist parties. I don't see anything far right about that. And maximum legal protection for the symbols of the nation, especially the flag, the anthem and the crown. In other words, patriotism. And he says 3 words that are written in capital letters here. Okay. The far right party also suggests some controversial measures to curb irregular immigration. Abascal defends the urgent, Abascal was the leader at the time, I don't know if he still is, defends the urgent repatriation of all those that are not legally residing in Spain, whom he considers to create very serious economic and coexistence problems, and would want Spain to leave the Schengen area. That is, the Schengen area is the agreement whereby immigrants get shunted around among various European countries. You'll have to forgive my tendency towards being a Nazi by the looks of things, but I don't see anything far right in any of those proposals. Unless there's something else here I haven't heard about. They are a rightward conservative type party, but they are not far right. And yet The Guardian says here in their report about why 34% of a certain town voted for Vox, they describe Vox as far right as well. You can't rely on any of these things, can you? Here we have a Reuters thing. Spain's far right Vox party takes Twitter to court over tweet ban. And that's where we're going with this. Why did they have to do that? Because a Spanish politician was temporarily suspended by Twitter after saying a man cannot get pregnant. Now, that's obviously a very far right position to take, according to Twitter anyway. Francisco Jose Contreras, deputy to Spain's far right Vox party, you notice how many times this word gets thrown up, was locked out of his Twitter account for 12 hours last week after saying a man cannot get pregnant. And I want you to notice something interesting about this report. Lucas Manfredi made this report and inserted something into Contreras's quote. If you notice here, he says, in quotes, a man cannot get pregnant, close quotes. And then, because they have. That is, Manfredi used the word they instead of the word she or he, because Manfredi didn't want to get into trouble with the woke mob. And then he starts Contreras's quote again with no uterus or eggs. So in order to violate nature, he has violated grammar. Last week, Contreras said a man cannot get pregnant because they have no uterus or eggs. And he does it again further down. Contreras' comments were in response to an article he shared on the social media platform about a transgender male who announced they were a father after giving birth to a baby girl. It's totally ridiculous. And that's what Contreras said. And I think most people would agree with that. And most people are not far right. And by the looks of things, neither is Contreras. But what's the important point, though, I want to make, I mean, we all know about this nutty lefty idea, but I do want to leave you with this thought. Twitter started off by disagreeing with the idea of Donald Trump and cancelled him. Now they are dabbling in Spanish politics as well by cancelling, at least temporarily, a Spanish politician. We used to have absolute monarchs who told us what to say or do, and we had to just follow their line. Recently in human history, we've done away with absolute monarchs, and we've said we will vote and make a consensus about what we can say or do by electing democratic representatives. It looks like Twitter has decided it's going to go back to being the absolute monarch, deciding what we can say and do and think, not only in America, but also in the rest of the world. Now, the Democrats are supporting the sort of people who run Twitter right now. I think the Democrats think they can control them. The Democrats obviously don't understand history. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.